All right, let's just dive straight into this. Today's explainer is, well, it's incredibly profound. We're looking at the mysteries of consciousness, space, time, and how the entire universe is, literally, one giant, intimately connected family. We're pulling these fascinating metaphysical concepts from Part 9 of the Nazraya Noor series, so if you've ever found yourself wondering how the physical world actually connects to the spiritual, or how our minds even process reality, you are in for an absolute treat today. We're going to visualize the actual architecture of existence.
So, here's our roadmap for the journey. We're covering 5 main stages. First, the journey of consciousness. Then, we'll tackle space and time, followed by the descent of worlds. After that, we look at the immense power of the divine name, and finally, we'll tie it all together with the cosmic family.
Starting right off with Section 1, the journey of consciousness. This is really about the blueprint of existence and the relationship between the traveler and the subconscious path.
Okay, so think about this. Everything we see around us in the physical world, it's basically just a reflection of a master blueprint. In spiritual terms, this is known as Lawh-e-Mahfuz, or the preserved tablet. The source text lays out this mind-bending concept. The essence, the actual form of every single species, has existed there eternally, totally unchanged. I mean, think about it. Over billions of years, environments completely change, but a goat is still essentially a goat, right? A lion is still a lion. They don't just magically switch identities, and that's because their original, unchanging reality is safely recorded on this cosmic blueprint. Everything here on Earth is just a reflection of that original truth.
To really wrap our heads around this, the source material gives us this brilliant analogy. Imagine creation is like a massive film projector. You could have, say, 1,000 different movies playing on 1,000 different screens scattered across the universe. Now, from the outside, they look like completely separate, distinct events. But if they're all being projected from one single pristine source film inside that master projector, the core reality of all 1,000 movies is exactly the same. Our physical universe is exactly like that. It's just a varied projection of the singular truth held securely in the preserved tablet.
Moving on to Section 2, the reality of space and time. This is where we get into the illusion of the physical world.
Now, this concept fundamentally flips our understanding of reality. The text draws a really hard line between 2 different dimensions. First up, we have makan. This represents space, our physicality, our bodies. And here's the kicker. This dimension is entirely prone to decay, to change, to ultimate destruction. It's an illusion, really. Then, on the flip side, there's zaman. This represents time in its truest, most absolute sense, the spiritual essence, the soul. This underlying reality, it never changes, it never decays. It is directly and eternally connected to the Creator. The physical body we obsess over is really just a temporary garment for that eternal soul.
So how do these 2 realities interact? Well, they oscillate, kind of like intersecting waves. And the text explains that this exact dynamic is what determines whether we are awake or asleep. When the physical wave, Kainaat, is dominant, boom, we're awake, navigating the material world. But when that wave dips and the spiritual wave Zamaniyat takes over, we enter sleep. We tap right back into that eternal, subconscious reality. It's this constant, rhythmic dance between the body and the soul.
Which brings us to a really crucial point, perfectly captured by this analogy from the author. Think of your active consciousness as a traveler, and your subconscious as the path they're walking on. Now, obviously, a traveler absolutely needs a path to exist and to move forward, right? They are totally intimately connected. But, and this is the important part, the traveler's thoughts, where they choose to look, their ultimate freedom, none of that is restricted by the dirt on the road beneath them. So your conscious mind relies on the subconscious spiritual path, for sure, but you still maintain the free will to look around, to act, and to choose your own destiny.
All right, Section 3, creation and the descent of worlds. Let's look at the cosmic cycle.
The text breaks creation down into 4 distinct steps. It all kicks off at the very top with Alam-e-Arwa, the world of souls. This is where the divine command of be was spoken and souls recognized their creator. From there, this divine will descends into step 2, the Lawh-e-Mahfuz we talked about earlier, where the blueprint is finalized. Next, it drops into step 3, Alami-Misal, or Barzakh. This is a transitional realm where those blueprints actually start taking on individual holographic forms. And finally, it lands at step 4, Alami-Nasut, which is the dense, physical, everyday world you and I inhabit right now.
But here's the thing. This journey isn't just a one-way street. It's a complete circle. We have the soul's downward journey into the physical world, which is known as the Nuzuli, or descending movement. But the soul doesn't just stay stuck here in the physical realm forever. Eventually, it completes the cycle with the Saudi, the upward ascending movement, traveling back through those transitional realms all the way to its divine origin. Every single one of us is currently somewhere on this massive, circular voyage.
To make this even more fascinating, the author explains that our existence is wrapped in 6 distinct luminous layers. The outer 3 layers are made of physical light, or Roshni. Interestingly enough, the author points out that modern phenomena, like Kirlian photography, the kind that captures those glowing energetic auras around leaves and human hands, that's actually giving us a real glimpse into this light body. But wait, it gets deeper. Beneath those 3 outer layers of physical light are 3 infinitely deeper layers of Noor, pure divine light. And that represents the absolute, untouchable spiritual core of our being.
That brings us to Section 4, the power of the divine name and illuminating the mind. So the source explains that our minds are just constantly being bombarded by these overwhelming waves of thoughts from the physical world. It's exhausting. However, when a person actively and deliberately invokes the divine name, the Ism-e-Zaat, something incredible happens. Their brain literally begins to fill with a highly specific luminous energy. It's described as an actual spiritual cleansing process. This brilliant divine light actively washes away the stagnation, the darkness, and that deep fatigue caused by our daily spiritual errors and, our obsessions with material things. It literally recalibrates your mind with light.
And this illumination, it completely shifts how we perceive reality. The text uses the ultimate example, the sun. When we look up at the sun with our physical eyes, we just see a massive burning ball of heat and energy, right? But according to the source, when a spiritually awakened person looks at the sun with their inner spiritual eye, they see something entirely different. They perceive it as a brilliant, deep black entity. It actually possesses no inherent light of its own. Instead, it's just acting as a giant cosmic mirror, reflecting a much higher, unseen divine light onto the earth. Mind-blowing, right?
Which leads us directly into one of the most deeply mystical realizations in this entire text. The author states that the universe doesn't just exist as a physical space, it acts as an infinite, giant mirror. And the mirror itself is made of light. So, when we look at things around us, we aren't just seeing objects, we are looking at the reflections of divine perception. As the text so profoundly puts it, everything is seeing the seeing of another. We are constantly interacting with reflections of one singular ultimate reality.
And finally, Section 5, the universe is a family, the ultimate unification.
This all implies that we operate on the exact same underlying software. The text points out these beautiful shared cosmic laws of nourishment. Just think about it for a second. A human drinks water to quench their thirst and grow. Okay, a cow, a sheep, or a wild lion. They drink the exact same water for survival. A tiny little ant consumes moisture through the exact same instinct, and a flower absorbs water through its roots to bloom. The mechanism is identical across the board. Whether you're a human, a lion, an ant, or a flower, the fundamental laws of consciousness are completely unified across every single species.
And so, the beautiful, really inescapable conclusion the author reaches is that the universe is quite literally one single family. Because of this shared consciousness, our shared origin in the preserved tablet, and this shared divine light powering our very existence, we are all one. Every individual of every species is intimately connected through these unseen, unbreakable spiritual ties of light. The text makes it absolutely clear. No matter how isolated or alone you might feel sometimes, no one can truly sever their connection from this grand cosmic family.
So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. We've seen the blueprints, we've explored the layers of light, and we've uncovered the shared laws that govern both a tiny ant and a massive galaxy. If the entire universe is intimately bound together as one single family by the exact same divine light, how will you look at yourself and the universe differently tomorrow? When you look in the mirror, are you just seeing you? Or are you seeing a reflection of everything? Thank you so much for exploring the depths of existence with me in today's explainer. Until next time, keep seeking the light.